We are back with our underrated or overrated series. This is number 4. And I appreciate everybody taking the time to either put a note on Substack or send me an email. I was originally only going to do a few of these, and then I've ended up with enough content to do a bunch more. So yeah, that's what these are about, is getting some of your questions of things that you've thought about, or some of these wives' tales or myths that you've heard about, and do they make sense or not? And I can guarantee if it's something you're thinking, a lot of other people are thinking of it as well. So I appreciate it. Keep them coming, and we'll just keep doing these as long as people keep writing into me. So, all right, let's dive into number 4. This first one, the no-break drill. I've had people ask me about this for years. I've really never done anything sort of and addressed it other than kind of individually. And let's talk about the no-break drill. So the no-break drill, when you think about what the no-break drill is about, it's pretty ingenious, right? Which is, how do we get people to have more confidence in entry speed? How do we get more people to have confidence basically getting into a corner faster and sort of breaking through that barrier? And going through a corner with no brakes, well, I mean, it's certainly going to, it certainly can accomplish that. So do I think that trying to build entry speed and confidence by going through a corner with no brakes, do I think that that's a good thing? I don't. And that's why I do think this is very overrated. And the reason being is because that's not a technique that we're going to migrate to. That's not a technique that the best in the world are going to do. We're accelerating because we plan to use the brakes. We're going to use the brakes to get the bike turned in less time and distance. And I absolutely realize that going and learning how to use your brakes properly is one of the hardest things that you can do on a motorcycle. Understanding it, what types of corners, what type of grip, my confidence, feel, all these things that the brakes do. I understand that is such a overwhelming topic, and it takes so much to learn that, yeah, it's hard. And simply going and say, okay, well, how about this? I'll just pick up my entry speed by not using the brakes. Well, yeah, you can do that, and you can do it, but you're going to be relying on grip. You're going to be relying on lean angle, and simply you're going to be relying on your self-preservation to keep things in check. So yeah, it can absolutely accomplish that. But is it the right way to be learning how to get through a corner safely and to be able to pick up speed and to get in and out of the slow point and be able to use your brakes properly? No, it doesn't. So yeah, we could probably spend a bunch more time talking about it, but no brake drill, overrated. Instead, yeah, I realize there's a lot more to it by using your brakes, but I'd rather see people practicing their initial braking, their end of braking, how they're using their eyes, how they're engaging their core, all those things on getting into the corner, which ultimately, as you develop those habits, they're going to get better, and they're going to get better as you add speed to them. So there you go. Along that line, same sort of vein, right? We've heard a lot on the lighter, longer braking. And there is a bunch of stuff on lighter, longer braking. It's sort of something that's happened the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. And lighter, longer braking. So is it underrated or overrated? Oof. I'm going to say it's underrated. Here's why. Is lighter, longer braking in itself is not the technique. Lighter, longer braking is a part of the whole braking process. There's again, where are you going to your brakes lighter, longer? And as a drill in training, is lighter, longer something that we use? It absolutely is. So understanding your overall brake picture and how you use the brakes, how you look at the left side of the brake graph, how you look at the right side of the brake graph, how you get to accomplish those things. We do use lighter, longer braking quite a bit to achieve those goals. I just want to be clear, though, is lighter, longer braking in itself the technique? And the answer to that is no. Lighter, longer is part of a bigger picture of how the brakes are used. So if you want to be stuck in, what we don't want to see is you be stuck in a camp of, oh, I'm a lighter, longer breaker, or I'm a harder, shorter breaker. I just, I'm mashing the brakes all the time. And you're going to use the brakes for whatever your situation calls for, your speed, your confidence, your grip level, all these different things. So lighter, longer braking, again, yeah, I think it's underrated, but remember, it's part of the bigger picture. So this was an interesting one too. The last one here, number 4, is apexes. And this one has become, it is interesting because I've gotten a lot of people say, well, you really are focused on apexes. And if somebody's missing an apex, then, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So apexes are very underrated. And they're underrated because they become mainly the biggest point of reference for how you're doing on track. It's a report card. And if you've got a track that, say, has whatever, 10 turns, you've got 10 apexes. There are basically 10 opportunities per lap to say, how am I doing? Am I close to the apex? What's my trajectory at the apex? What control am I using? All these different things that tell you in a very short amount of time, how am I doing? So if you're missing apexes, or if you're using the wrong control with your apexes, or your trajectory is off, yeah, am I a stickler for this? Yeah, I am. I'm completely uncompromising with apexes because that's really where everything starts. And as professionals that look at how you're doing, apexes become the number one thing that they're going to look at to see how you're doing. They become an instant evaluation. And if you're missing apexes, yeah, it's very difficult to add speed to that at some point. Quick story to that is I did a car time attack this year, and I was a little bit outgunned in the car that I was in. And we kind of had a group of us that were all very, very similar on lap times. And during the quick warm-up session that we had, the guy that I felt was going to be the fastest, he was very, very quick, much nicer car than what I was driving, a much more capable car than what I was driving. We went out for our little 10-minute warm-up, and he missed half his apexes. And I thought, yeah, good luck adding speed to that. And sure enough, yeah, that basically was his fastest session of the day because he could not add speed to that. So yeah, apexes become a big deal. And apexes are really the number one point of reference when we start the fundamentals. So with bike placement. So there you go. Number 4, NoBreak Drill, lighter, longer braking, and apexes. So yeah, keep them coming. And yeah, we'll add some more to these.